Andy Johnson. We are looking at whole language or a neurocognitive approach. There's a lot of negative emotional buzzwords related to whole language, usually because people have not read about it or understand what it is. What it is not. It is not a whole word approach or a look-say approach. Yes, they both have the word whole in them, whole word, whole language, but they are not the same in of itself. Whole word is you simply look at words and memorize words. It is not and never has been that. It does not teach children to simply guess what words are, all right? We use context clues, word order clues, and we recognize that there is a top-down flow of information from the cortex to the thalamus, which makes it more efficient. But this is much different than simply guessing what words are. And it does not ignore phonics instruction. It's not the what of phonics instruction, it's the how and the how much. So what is it? Reading is creating meaning with print, not sounding out words. This definition is what separates whole language or neurocognitive approaches from a skills-based approach. We seek to help children create meaning with print. In a neurocognitive or whole language approach, we teach 6 ways, not 1, but 6 ways to identify words as we are reading, and they are all there. And notice that phonics is at the bottom. Not that it's the least important, but it is one of 6. We don't want to give 1/6 of an education. We want to give 6/6 of an education. We recognize that the brain uses 3 cueing systems, not 1, to identify words, and we seek to develop all 3 of these: graphophonologic or phonologic, syntactic, and semantic. We don't teach reading. We create the conditions whereby students can develop their ability to read and write. Once children understand the main concepts of prints, letters, sounds for sounds, put these sounds together to create words, etc., etc., they know how to read. Most of them just can't read very well. So they need some skills instruction, but they need lots of practice. Reading is an interactive process. Humans use what is in their head to make sense of what's on the page. So having stuff in the head and reading about things that are in the head is important. It utilizes whole to whole instruction versus part to instruction. This means that we start with reading whole meaningful texts or authentic writing to create meaning, and we provide instruction, skills instruction, quick, briskly paced in mini lessons, and then we get back to whole reading and writing practice. We see the whole, we get bits of instruction within the context of authentic reading and writing instruction, and then we do lots and lots of practicing authentic reading, authentic writing. We recognize that reading is a pleasurable act until humans interfere. We like to do it. We like to read pleasurable books. We like to read and find out about the world we live in. We recognize in the whole language and neurocognitive approach that writing is a pleasurable act. It's an expression of ideas and sharing ideas, and humans tend to like to do this until we interfere and make it not so. Students are our main scope and sequence, not a list that someone else has prepared out in New York City. Humans are not standardized products. We don't learn the same skills in the same order and in the same way, so we watch our students. Yes, scope and sequence charts are useful to inform us to fill in the blanks, but our children, we see what they need and we teach them, because all children need a little bit different type of instruction and instruction in different types of things. Human beings, children, students are not standardized products. We use very direct and very explicit of phonics and other reading subskills. It's direct in that it tends to come directly from what students are reading and directly in the context of what they are writing. So it is very direct and it is incredibly explicit. This is the A. It makes the A sound as in cat, as in apple. All right? It's not the what of phonics instruction. It's the how and how much. It's briefly paced. All right? Literacy, we recognize, is a continually developing skill. We get better at it through practice. Whether we're 8 years old or 80 years old, we continually get better. It's not something you learn once and you know. We need to touch skills over and over again at higher and higher levels. And we recognize that children learn to read and write much the same way as they learn to speak and listen. This language acquisition device, they were immersed in authentic speaking and listening context. And in the same vein, we recognize that children learn in different ways to speak, to write, to read, and to listen. They learn in different ways and at different rates. And when young children learn to speak, we responded to them. We didn't correct them. We didn't send them off into ability groups and have them do drill and skill on little speaking skills. We expected some errors and we immersed and gave them lots and lots of practice. And again, whole language is not a whole word approach. It is not a look-say approach. It never has been. The word whole is common, but that is the only thing. It does not teach children simply to guess what words are. Never has, never been. Top-down flow. And it does not ignore phonics instruction. It's not the what, it's the how and the how much of phonics instruction. All right, some basic elements of what whole language is or might be, and it is a neurocognitive approach.